my God, how do they walk away in movies without flinching when it explodes behind them? There's no way! I call bullshit on that! I need an MRI! I've got soft tissue damage! There's no way I don't have soft tissue damage!
You know I don't speak Spanish. In English, please. Huh? You pooped in the refrigerator.
So it's about that time again for new pads. Probably could do with a new disc and all, but I'm not going to bother with that. Try and keep things down to the minimum. But anyway, it's very important. You must always remember, stick a bit of copper slip on the back of your new pads, because otherwise what will happen is they'll squeak. Looks like in this kit we get new bolts and all. Sweet. Always remember to get the right pads. These are just ordinary ones. You can get black ones, ordinary standard ones. You can get green stuff or red stuff. Green stuff for sort of, you know, like sort of fast road or something like that. Red stuff ones you really have to warm up before you go braking, otherwise you're going to end up, well, they just won't work. But yeah, always remember to stick a bit of copper slip on the back of them, because it will stop them squeaking. You know, when you get that squeal, that squeak when you put new pads on, if you put a bit of copper slip on there, it won't do that and you'll be hunky-dory. Also, when you're rewinding the old caliper, the piston in there, you can get yourself a kit. You can get the kits that come right hand and left hand, or you can just buy the one you want. On these Jaguars, they happen to be left-handed thread. So you use your left-handed winder, put it on and wind away. You can get right-handed ones as well. My kit has all of them. It has different types. You can just buy random ones, or you can just use yourself a random whatever you can find and do it yourself without a tool. I've done that before, but now I decided to invest in a tool, so I've got proper equipment, because it's annoying otherwise. Right, sorry I didn't catch the actual progress on film, but I just managed to get that nut off that in the last video I said I couldn't get off. What I've done was I got the old I went and had to borrow this off my dad. I've got another one and all, but this one was alright. They were about 70 quid to buy, I couldn't believe it, bloody hell. Anyway, so give it a good bit of heat, wedge the old pry bar, bloody thing, can't think what it's called, but I wedged it in there anyway, stop the old crank moving around, because that's I move around. Give it a good bit of a heat up, and then stuck the old impact wrench on it. Come straight off, didn't it? So yeah, sweet. That's what we want. Now, you do have to be very careful. I know some of you are going to be, you're probably going to be shouting at your screens as you watch me tell you about this. Now, it is important to remember I have got, or on the way are, a new seal kit for the rubber seals around there, and new bearings. So you don't have to panic, you know, but it is important to remember, if you're going to have to heat anything up when it's around, if you're around a rubber seal, you can't really do it. If you've got a rubber seal there and you only need to heat this shaft up, you've got big trouble really, because you're going to melt that rubber seal, so you're not going to be able to do it. But if you've got a bearing, just a bearing with no seal, you need to be careful. You can heat it up, but you don't want to heat it up a lot, because if you heat a bearing up, you can ruin the bearing by heating it up too much. So what you've got to do is you've just got to sort of heat it a bit, pardon me, heat it a bit, try and get the nut undone or the bolt undone. If you can't do it, heat it a bit more, but don't just go right in there until it's red hot with a bearing, because you can cause some damage to the bearing. But in this particular case, I didn't care, because I've got new bearings and I've got new seals. So we're all good and dandy, but that nut's come off. I'm going to wait and let it cool down, because it was bloody hot. Trust me, that was bloody hot, that nut. Stood there for around about 2 or 3 minutes heating it up, right on the tip of the flame where it's the hottest part. So, yeah, so that's that. Got that off. Hopefully next I'll better get the crank out, and then I'll better get ready, because the new bearings ain't arrived yet. They're in the post. They should arrive next week, hopefully. Today being a Sunday, they should arrive hopefully sort of tomorrow, I'd like to hope anyway. So yeah, got that off, sweet. And to finish off the day, the crank is out. It's about as far as I can go now until these new bearings turn up. That's the other bearing, not bad at all really, but since I'm changing the crank and pretty much rebuilding everything, it pays to put new bearings in, because then you know you're covered then. Even if they are alright. I mean, usually, if this was my engine, I would probably have just used these bearings and not bothered with new ones. But, yeah, seeing as it's someone else's, the last thing I want is to give it back to them, and a week down the line, the main bearings decide to start rattling around. I don't be doing that, do I? And that one's stuck on there. But yeah, the crank's out, and you can see the real damage. Hold on, let me get you can really see now what the damage was. It's melted all those stuffers there, and we can get the torch to stand up. Bloody hell. Here we go. There's nothing left of that one over there, and yeah, bit of rod play there. You can see where it's got hot. Look, that's how it all got hot. You can see the distortion in the metal, the colouring. So yeah. As soon as new bearings turn up, the new crank will be going in and the engine will be going back together. It's hopefully going to be fairly straightforward from now. What's been delaying me is parts, waiting for parts to come in. I ordered everything in one go, in one big bulk. I ordered everything, but I had to get bits from different websites, because some websites sold one things at a cheaper price than the other ones, and they're the same parts. So I shopped around and got things from different websites, but I ordered them all in the same time, within about an hour of each other. Yet, you know, some things turned up within a day, and others have taken 2 or 3 weeks. So, you know, and they all had the same shipping as well, just ordinary economy standard shipping, which is strange. But there you go. Every website's different, all the processing's different, I'd imagine, so that's the way that cookie crumbles. Put that on there before I lose it. Sweet. So, you know, that's how that cookie crumbles.